Listen, anytime, any place, anywhere, I'll fight you in your back garden. Like a dumb Klitschko, I'll beat you, you bum. You're a bum.
I want to unify. Is he up for the challenge? Like I said, I declare war. You know, this is not a battle, this is war because I will war the things.
Why am I sitting here like a spare dick anyway? While you are sitting in your mum's spare rooms, just tickling your bollocks.
Come see me, baby. No more hiding, no more ducking, no more dodging, no more excuses. Let's make the fight happen. Let's see who's the best. I know I'm the best. Are you up for the test?
I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You're not shit. I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
Negative. I'm good. I beat Polly. I left with his belt and his girl.
Fucker was too fast. But it wasn't so much about it, was just that he was so fucking fast. Fast.
Amazingly fast.
Getting amazingly fast. I was like, I thought Freddie was in there fucking hitting me too. So
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up, Patreon family? Sorry for the weird intro in the beginning. The entire system was having some issues this whole morning. But apologies. I do believe we're live. I do believe everything is a go. Nothing says it's fucking up right now. At the moment, I think that all systems are running clear. I see Richard in the chat. Richard, let me know if the camera quality is good, if everything's running fine. Because we were having some issues there. That always makes me concerned. But it is championship rounds, the return of it, yes. And it dawns on me that there's a lot of people out there, maybe on Patreon, that have not seen Championship Rounds show before. It's definitely on me. Apologies. Just been swamped lately, and obviously, those that don't know, I think I said it on yesterday's show, but Rob and Fu are out of town this week, so I'm kind of forced to go back to Solo Dolo, and Championship Rounds is my Solo Dolo Patreon show, so we're back here. Hopefully this is going to be more of a routine thing. I think it's going to be a weekly thing on Tuesdays at this time. That's sort of what I'm going to go for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half tops, and take all of your questions, all of your topics, and discuss them. And then also whatever news that's out there as well, I'll discuss. I'll debate amongst myself or whoever wants to call in, 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. If you're international, obviously Skype, Mixed Combat Radio. Yes, so those that don't know what this is, there is a topic question post both on Patreon, and I'm making it very easy for everyone because of this, and also on our YouTube community page or a community tab. So whether or not you post a question there on Patreon or say there on YouTube or here on Patreon, doesn't matter. You get your question answered. So don't worry about which post you should write your question or topic on. Doesn't matter. I go to both. I sort of copy and paste whichever questions I deem sort of good enough, and also like questions. Some of you guys had really nice statements, really nice comments, but not really questions. Really appreciate that. So obviously you just have to sort of mine through the good questions and see what we have for a show. But that's basically the gist of Championship Rounds, is that it's an extra show where you guys get your questions and topics answered directly from us. Usually it's me, because at least in theory, Championship Rounds is my show, and the other ones are combined with either me and Fu or me and Rob or all of us together. But digressing, hit the like button, share the show on Patreon, share the Patreon link, not the YouTube link if you can. And again, call in. Always want a lively debate. Gary, if you're out there listening, we're going to be talking about prospects. So I know that's going to pique your interest because we have a question about top 10 prospects in the sport. I know you have a couple thoughts about that. But it should be a fun show. So let's get to it. But first, before we get to you guys' question topics, let's get to this news topic first because it's pretty funny. Let's be honest here. There are a few things in life that I think are as obviously trolling or troll-like as just Tyson Fury's entire career. And him now coming out and saying he will take the Dylan White ordered fight if it's for the diamond belt and not for the interim belt or whatever it may be. So let's hear Tyson Fury's exact words on this, and also Dylan White's response to him, because Dylan White does respond to the video that we're talking about in this tweet. So let's get to it.
Hi, this is Tyson Fury, aka the Gypsy King. I just want to say a special message to the WBC, who supported me in my comeback and been very fair with me over the years. Hi Pepe, hi Mauricio. I recently saw your quote about fighting for the interim title against Dylan White, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity. But what I suggest is, because I beat Deontay Wilder, and we all know what happened, I didn't get the decision, but I still won, and the world knows. I propose that we make me and Dylan White for the WBC Diamond Belt and not the interim belt. And I'll take care of Dylan White and I'll knock him out within 6 rounds. I accept the challenge. Thank you very much. I'll fight Dylan White every day of the week and twice on a Sunday, WBC. Make it for the Diamond Belt, not the interim version, and you got a deal. Let's get it on!
And then Dylan White says, let's do it. Gypsy King, WBC, Mauricio Suleiman. I fight anytime, 7 days a week, and 5 times on Sunday. Blah, blah. I look forward to putting you to sleep. Let's go, baby. This isn't happening, guys. And if it does, I would be the first one to say that I was wrong, and I'm completely surprised if it was to happen. But like I've said before, Tyson Fury operates beyond belts and sanctioning bodies at this point. His entire talking point is his lineal championship that is completely separate from the sanctioning bodies and how they operate. So he already does that. Secondly, I think this is a clever, very clever sort of backhanded statement to WBC. Like, oh, thank you for giving me this opportunity, but I'd rather fight for the diamond belt instead of this interim belt. Both are useless. Both are pointless. Like, completely worth the amount of that probably my toilet paper is worth. Let's be honest. And Tyson Fury is saying it, very politely, very in a way that doesn't make you automatically think that he's joking. He seems serious, but God, Tyson Fury is just a fantastic troll. This is not happening. If it does, again, I'll be the first one to say I'm wrong, and I'm completely shocked. I just don't think Tyson Fury, Dylan White, will ever negotiate a fight at the behest of a sanctioning body. I just don't think that happens. He had a 50-50 offer with Deontay Wilder, the actual champion, in a rematch, and he said no to that. So why would he accept the WBC's ruling on a mandated fight between him and Dylan White for, in a sense, a number 1 contender fight? Throw the diamond belt, whatever you want on it. It's crazy. Richard's saying, sorry, quality is good. I'm about 5 minutes behind. Don't worry, Richard. At least you're here, man. Appreciate it. What else? We have some good stuff to get to. Some quick sort of easy news topics to get through. The gate revenue the gate information for Canelo Jacobs is out. The total gate revenue was $8.6 million. It sold about 15,000 tickets, a little bit over 1,000 comps. And I want to sort of preface this original tweet with this one. Jake Donovan, boxing scene, I think most people know him within the boxing world, saying official live gate receipts for Canelo Jacobs as per Nevada State Athletic Commission. 15,000 tickets sold, same information I just said. And then he finishes roughly 68% drop in revenue from Canelo Triple G2. And then you go back to Mookie Alexander from Bloody Elbow. He says 8.6, obviously nowhere near Canelo Triple G, 1 or 2 numbers, but still would be one of the top 40 boxing gates of all time in Nevada. So imagine all of the Mike Tyson fights, all of the Oscar De La Hoya fights, all the Mayweather fights, all the Pacquiao fights, all the Canelo fights. It's still top 40. Let alone UFC events, WWE events, etc. So, oh no, it's just boxing. It's not all-time gates. Never mind. Then, no, it can definitely still fit in there and be amazing. I just want to sort of preface this news article with the idea of framing, like the framing of news articles or the framing of information by media. Always look for counter information. Like this might be a thread point throughout this show, or at least throughout what I've been seeing the last couple weeks. Like the same thing with, I didn't really address this on the show because I didn't feel like it was worth giving them the time of day on our main show. But even the framing of Williams Hurd is, be careful of it. Not for yourself, but what you're reading. You know, just understand the framing and the perspective of what you're reading and who you're listening to. You know, like when I went out there on social media and said, like I said, Williams Hurd, Fight of the Year contender, Upset of the Year contender. The entire perception of Williams is now completely changed 180 degrees. We now view him as an elite champion. We never viewed him as that, even with the Jamal Charlo fight, before the Jamal Charlo fight. Going into that, I don't think people really viewed him as that elite champion as they do now. However, PBC plans for her Charlo reunification in the fall are scuttled. They are, in quotes, tattered. And to be upset about that information and to say, like, oh, you should only focus on one piece of that is a framing of information, the framing of an argument by a section of the boxing fan base, a section of the boxing media. Beware of that. And again, that's just an example similar to this one about framing of particular situations, particular news stories. Because if I only saw a 68% drop or 69% drop in revenue from his from the Triple G fight, wow. But then you come in and say, yeah, but still top 40 all time. That is pertinent information that does add a lot of context to the framing of the first statement. Moving on to sort of, again, news stories, or at least little pieces of news today. The PBC on Fox card averaged 1.385 million viewers for the entire telecast. To put in that perspective, April's event averaged 1.08 million. March's event averaged 1.6 million. February's 1.3. January's 1.98. So nothing is really average in terms of the whole telecast over 2 million. I think the Spence Porter fight's obviously going to break this trend of just in the 1 point something range of overall telecast average for PBC shows on Fox. And again, this isn't bad numbers. It's not spectacular, though. Like, it's not something that you should be popping champagne bottles for. It's really good numbers. I think Fox is happy with it. I think PBC is happy with it. Don't get me wrong. But they're not popping champagne bottles. Not the same way that they probably did when they saw the Spence NBC numbers way back in the day. Or even maybe like Thurman Garcia on CBS. Those were pretty big numbers that they reached. This is not that yet. And last piece of news before we move on. And it's something that, I got to say, guys, it's here. The return. Julio Cesar Chavez. Look at this champ right here. I don't know if that music's copyright, so we're gonna mute that music. But look at that movement. Look at that speed. Was that like a 5.5 40 right there? Wow. This is actually one of the most depressing things I've ever seen in my life, guys. Let's be honest here. Poor Chavez, guys. Poor Chavez. But hey, he's going to get knocked out by somebody. Not say knocked out, but he's definitely going to get beat by somebody elite in the next 12 months. That'd be cool to see. Maybe. Sort of. But he's still a name. That's the problem. But digress from that. Let's get to you guys' questions and topics. Let's go out to Ryan Island. I think he was on the YouTube chat. saying I liked some shit on all the new prospects, UK and US. Maybe do like a top 10 prospect ranking. Well, guess what, Ryan? I did. Would be interesting as the guard seems to be changing over. Will Dubois rule at heavyweight, and what are these Matchroom USA prospects saying? There's a lot of questions there. I'm going to try to tackle as much of it as I can, Ryan. The top 10, I have them in no specific order because I did this right before show. I apologize. But my top 10 in no specific order. Tifimo Lopez, Joe Cordina, Josh Kelly, Shakur Stevenson, Joshua Barazzi, who just got a fight announced with, I think, Parabon, Brandon Figueroa, Daniel Dubois, Virgil Ortiz, Devin Haney, and Anthony Sims Jr. To me, those top 10 right there both have a lot of talent, have a lot of skill that make me think that they can achieve at least championship status, maybe not elite greatness, but championship status at some point in their careers. On top of that, a lot of these guys have some sort of X factor, whether it be on their fighting, style, like a Josh Kelly, or a personality trait, like an Anthony Sims Jr., for example, or Tifimo Lopez. But those 10 guys, to me, seem like they're going to be something at some point, and they all relatively have a lot of push behind them. Your next question is saying, will Dubai rule at heavyweight? I mean, far too soon to say that, especially since a lot of these heavyweights are going to be around for a while when he comes up. Like the Nathan Gorman fight, that could be a 50-50 fight that he loses. So it's just far too soon to say that he will rule at heavyweight. He definitely might grab a belt, but that's not saying much. Charles Martin grabbed a belt. Romain Stavern grabbed a belt, guys. Like, let's always keep that perspective here. And Ryan, unfortunately, I don't understand what you mean by what are these Matchroom US prospects saying. I don't understand what the reference is to that. Richard, I think that's the same Richard Carey in the chat. What Richard's saying, knockout tournament of 16 heavyweights, past and present. Draw out a hat who fights each other each round. Who progresses to the next round? You three decide. Should lead to some good debates. I agree, Richard. And unfortunately, we won't be able to do this because it's just me. I'm going to save this for boxing banter probably next Sunday when everyone gets back in town. And we will do this because I do like this. It will be fun. And plus, you can throw in like Joe Frazier, Larry Holmes, and a ton of other maybe like a Jack Dempsey or something like that. Throw out some weird names, and maybe like a Braddock, a John Braddock. That'd be interesting, right? But anyways, could do a lot there. That should be fun. Rahman also on Patreon saying, can Anthony Yard pull it off? Obviously against Sergey Kovalev. No, I really don't think he does. I think he has a very low possibility and almost a zero probability of winning. I just think that Sergey Kovalev really does everything that Anthony Yard struggles with. Kovalev has a great jab, great sense of being a long distance fighter, piecing people up with straight shots, going to the body, has great power. I think Yard is just going to struggle in every capacity. I really don't think Anthony Yard can pull it off. If he does, salute to him. Also, from Rahman, isn't Jonathan Banks a terrible choice? His guys don't throw volume. Triple G needs an aggressive trainer like Derek James or John David Jackson. I wouldn't say Jonathan Banks is a terrible choice. And I also will push back on the idea that Triple G needs to throw out volume. I think at his age, at his stage in his career, he might want to sort of dial it back in a way, approach more of a minimalist style of his game plan. He has great jab, great fundamentals, great accuracy, a great natural sense of distance and timing. He might want to rely on that in a way. And Jonathan Banks, while he is not credited, obviously, for fixing Vladimir Klitschko, he definitely still helped Vladimir Klitschko post Emmanuel Stewart. I think he did good work with Vladimir Klitschko. They did good game planning as well. I think that John David Jackson's choice might be ultimately a little bit better. I don't know if Derrick James would be a smart choice. Not a bad choice though, because I think it would help with my idea of what Triple G needs to turn into. But again, I think the idea of volume that Triple G needs, I don't think Triple G needs volume. I think he actually needs to dial it back down and work beyond the jab now going forward, to be quite honest. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's actually it for today. It's going to be a short one. I do apologize. But, I got to run and do some things. I do apologize. And plus, it's all the questions we have. So if you want more topics, if you want more debate, if you want more of a show, leave more questions and topics. Again, next week, Tuesday, 10 a.m. my time, Pacific time. What is that? 1 p.m. Eastern time and 6 p.m. UK time, I believe. That is roughly going to be when this show is. But again, it will go as long as you guys want it to go on. Have a great day, great night, great evening, wherever you are. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Obviously, you're listening on Patreon right now. Tell a friend about Patreon. Share Patreon links. Definitely, when we're doing the full show, push that on the chat. Tell people that are listening, go to Patreon. Be the annoying friend with peer pressure, telling people to sign up. Because this is our #1 source of revenue. Have a great day, like I said. Peace.